Thank you very much. Thank you. Put this one here. Our policy toward Cuba, therefore, today is one that was dictated by Cuba, not by the United States. And until I see some indication of willingness to change, it's going to be very difficult to persuade me to change our policy. And I would have a different attitude toward China or Vietnam or North Korea if they murdered any Americans.
Thank you all for coming. I'm pleased to announce today that the United States and the European Commission have reached an understanding which the Commission will submit to the member states, that the two sides will work cooperatively to develop binding disciplines on acquisitions and dealings in property confiscated by Cuba and other governments in contravention of international law. The understanding also calls for the EU to immediately suspend its challenge in the World Trade Organization against the Libertad Act and other components of our Cuba legislation. We will certainly be talking to Canada about it. We've told them in very general terms. Canada and the European Union have already put forth their demands with respect to what they call secondary boycotts and extraterritorial legislation. And in this agreement, we agree to try to work together to address and resolve principles involving the issue of conflicting jurisdictions, including issues affecting investors of another party because of their investments in third countries.
National understanding on.
As this process unfolds, the administration will open a dialogue with the Congress with a view toward obtaining an amendment providing the President with waiver authority for Title IV of the Libertad Act once these bilateral consultations are completed and the EU has adhered to these agreed disciplines.
I think the basic motivation on both sides is probably that we had realized that this had got out of proportion, totally. Certainly taking into consideration the economic interests which were at stake, and taking into consideration that it was gradually becoming a political irritant between the two countries, which was really not worthwhile having.
Tell me what you're going to do this weekend.
Should I really tell you? Yes.
Tell me a make-believe.
Well, we can't do away with the Helms-Burton Act. Helms-Burton Act has been approved by an overwhelming majority in the U.S. Congress and has been signed by the President, so it is law. What we have agreed upon is that it would be good if we could eliminate certain aspects and what we consider to be the most offensive aspects of the Helms-Burton law. And the principle of that decision is a great step forwards.